Welcome back to Trinity 7 Anime Review Part 4. This one discussing the series Soul OVA. Yeah, I was thinking of basically, if I got home, basically, I would review both the OVA and the film. But the OVA got done first, and the film is still not finished yet, the first one anyways. This particular OVA is called Trinity 7 The Special Lesson. Now, unlike the main anime, this one was never dubbed. Nope. Never was. Came out 5 years ago, and for some reason, Santa Film Work just declined to dub this damn thing for some reason. Yeah, I have no idea why, because apparently all they dubbed was just the main series. Not the OVA, and not the films, so I'll discuss more about that when it comes to films. Now, the story for this one is this. Arata is apparently failing. Even he and Lilith are like, how? He's been studying really hard. Apparently, he's not understanding the archive stuff really well. So, the way to make sure he doesn't get expelled is to take lessons from all members of the Trinity 7. So, first he stops by Levi, the only woman he hasn't seen naked yet. Just, not listen to me yet. Go see Lisa. So, go to Serena. Of course, she and Serena basically swap bodies. And they would do some scandalous stuff. Until basically Lila comes and tries to put a stop to it because, well, she wants to basically seduce him. One of 3 times basically this happens. Where basically like all the girls, except for like 2 of them, want to seduce him. Yep, all but 2. Yep. And of course, well, they discuss all the various sins. Now the reason why she can't physically be there because she's basically stuck in another world. So she would swap bodies with her little sister. And she's just like, don't do things to my body. Which I found to be so hilarious. The other ones are simply, first then we have Anko, where he does it in the bath. Well, not have sex in the bath. No, he basically has a lesson with her. And it's a pretty okay little scene. Let's see. Yui just wants to have sex with him. So basically she strips completely naked. And she proceeds to undress Arata. Though, of course, they do this in the dream world, but he's like, no, despite the fact he probably wants to do it anyway. He's like, now's not the time to do that, because he's wanting to make sure he turns lessons for him. Like, okay, perfectly fine. At least he's into it. Yep. Let's see, what about the other members? Let's see. I'm trying to think. Lisa, Anko, Yu. I think next one was... I'm trying to think, who was next? No, Levi basically don't get a chance basically before the thing ends. Next one was Mira. Yeah, she was next one. Though when he comes in, basically she's already in underwear. She's about to basically put her get ready for bed, and she's basically in her underwear. Oh, I also forgot to mention the headmaster told me he has to report about this by 8 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, so. And then when he sees Mira naked, not the first time he sees her naked several times, and he says, thank you for the feast. Yes. It's not the first girl he said it to. First one he said it to was Arin, which she's actually next, by the way. Where they basically give like an actual lesson. Nothing seductive here. So basically some books. And here's the thing. Both Arden and Arata and Mira have the same sin, pride. So, basically, talk about they're basically different archives, basically, but they have the same type of sin, pride. And this was done for a while, then she falls asleep. So, Arata just picks her up, first pats her on her head, and picks her up, and just lies her in bed. And she apparently is awake, but she doesn't know if Arata knows that. So, she thinks that Arata wants to basically grope her, or possibly strip her naked. Nope, he doesn't do that at all. Ratty sets her in bed, just pulls the covers over her, and just politely walks out. Lilith's watching this whole thing. And she thought Arata basically did something to her. But nope, he did nothing. He just basically just put her in bed. And then basically gets back to his room, and it's 3 a.m. And then Arin comes in. Yep. And of course she wants to tell about, well, what she wants to do is to have children with him. And he's open to the idea. He's like, oh yeah, I want that. And he's like, well, I want to know about yours too. And of course she's on top of him while she's doing it. Of course, no, they have not gotten dressed. at all. And then Lily comes in, all the rest, and then Levy comes in, and everyone else comes in, and they all argue back and forth. And the headmaster's like, yeah, he's not going anywhere because he passed. Because he learned all the lessons from all members of 70 Deadly Sins. Well, except for Lilith and Levy. Yeah, those two are the only ones he didn't do it with. Well, to have lessons with anyways. But I think this OVA is standard Trinity 7. As for the placement of this one, I would say it's probably not long after the events of the main anime. I mean, this OVA was released 3 months after the anime ended back in December 2014. So, yeah, you can easily just fit this in just not long after. Now, as for in the case of where this particular story is adapted from, it's not adapted from the manga. Not necessarily. And I haven't found any info where this is adapted from. This might be just an anime original, like OVA, though it is slightly longer than the actual main episodes of the series. Those are like about 22 minutes. This is 26 minutes. Yes. Though it's not a terrible OVA, mind you. Oh no, it's actually pretty good. And yes, the same studio who worked on the main series did work on this OVA and the 2 following films, which I'll discuss the 2 films in the next 2 episodes. So, part 5 will discuss the very first film of the series, which is called The Eternal Library and the Alchemist Girl, which is also named in the second light novel. I'll discuss more about that when I talk about part 5. And the 6th and last one, we'll discuss the second and last film release, and the most recent anime was released for this franchise, Heaven's Library and the Crimson Lord. I'm looking forward to discuss this one. But that won't happen for a little while. And as for the film itself, the actual film I'm watching, this first film, it's actually not that long. I'm only about 22 minutes left of the movie, so I should probably finish up pretty soon when it comes to this particular film. Though I kind of wish, basically, they would have dubbed this one. I kind of wish they did. Now, also, from what I can tell now, in the sub, apparently the headmaster, and I think Lilith refers to Arita as Arita Kun. Everyone else refers to him as Arita, or I think Arita's son. No one, I think the only one I can think of basically who has a Chun with her name is probably Serena. That's my personal guess. And also, what does Serena call her sister in the actual sub? Now, in the dub, she first calls her big sister. In the sub, she refers to her as Oni-chan, basically, which means big sister. Yeah, how do I know this? I look it up. That's how I know about it. And Lilith is called by mostly all members of Trinity 7, with the exception, almost everybody except for Arita, the headmaster and assistant, as Lilith Sensei. Which I kind of wish they would have kept that in the main series, because in the dub, basically, they call Lilith is Miss Lilith. Yep, that's what they call her, which I'm like, really? You couldn't call her Lilith Sensei? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they kept the Sensei part of the name when characters call these things by their actual name. Like, they do it for Naruto, so why not do it for this one? I mean, yeah, I get the fact it's a different studio. I would think they would keep it in, but nope, they didn't. And yet this is the same studio that dubbed Meow Love, which kept all the honorifics in. Every single one, which I'm like, really? You couldn't drop the honorifics? Nope, we had to keep it because it's Japan, and this is probably standard for them to basically address each other with honorifics. Which is the only anime I've seen basically where in the dub, I didn't watch the sub for it, where everybody refers to each other by honorifics, mostly anyways. This one, of course, is sub, of course you expect it. But in the dub, don't really expect it at all, except for like 1 or 2 characters who might keep it, because that's what they call them. Yep. But yeah, that's particularly it for this particular review. Not much else to talk about when it comes to this OVA, but I will be hopefully discussing the first film soon, when I finish watching the movie itself. Though, in case you're wondering though, like, why hasn't the 2 videos I recorded, you're probably wondering, like, why is Attack on Titan and the Black Clover reviews being uploaded today? Because I didn't get a chance to upload them last night. I recorded them last night, I didn't get a chance to upload them. So those will be up too along with this one, okay? To the next video. Bye.